Good morning. We are here. Give us a moment. This is July the 18th, we believe, 2012. Let us begin. There is a anxiety that is permeating the ethers at this time. And many are feeling it. Many are picking it up as a frequency, as a vibration. And as all vibrations reflect off of surfaces, what causes echoes and things of that sort, that frequency is reverberating off of individuals. Now, when you think in terms of an echo, of a vibration, there are things you can do to that vibration when it hits you. We are speaking a little bit scientific here for a moment, but the analogy is true with people as well. You can be a perfect reflector of the frequency. In other words, if the frequency hits you, you can turn it back around and reflect it outward. Or you can modify it. Let us imagine, say, a sound vibration hitting a rubber wall. The rubber wall will not reflect it. The rubber wall will absorb the vibration, converting it into heat or whatever, and deadening it. There's one thing you can do. Or you can be a prism. You can reflect the frequency in a different vibration. You can be hit with one color and you can reflect out yet another. And that is what we would like you all to imagine that you can do. You can either be the rubber wall, the black wall, if you will, if we are talking about light, where nothing is reflected. That is one thing you can do. Or you can convert it into a vibration that is what you are, what would be a better version, or a more conducive to harmony and such. Understand? So you have this anxiety, and it can hit you. But you don't have to reflect out anxiety. You can reflect out the opposite. You can reflect out peace and goodwill and this sort of thing. Understand? Years ago, our vehicle was in England, and he and others were touring England together. And there was a time when the cars got separated, and the lead car was lost. And so the other two cars that were following were in need of figuring out their own way to proceed. Now, our vehicle was driving one of the cars, and he realized when the lead car was lost that there were other people in the cars behind who were now concerned about being lost. And so he had an opportunity to feed that fear or to alleviate that fear. And so he knew in a moment that he could show no concern about losing the lead vehicle, and simply said, no problem, we know where we're going, let's get back on the road and we'll meet up with them further down the road. And that vibration, that fear that went out, that we're lost, we're not going to be able to catch up, we're going to be lost in England, we've messed up our tour, got bounced back as there's a stable person in charge. Things are going to be adjusted, and everything will be fine. And that vibration went backward into the grouping. Everyone mellowed out, and they proceeded on. So instead of the chaos that could have happened if the concerns had been able to build, a more calming effect came in. Now, this is the kind of thing that's happening all over. There will be information coming out. There will be vibrations coming out that seem to indicate, oh my God, the sky is falling. But really, it's not. And if you can simply turn that anxiety, fear, whatever, into a more positive energy and reverberate that back out, you will see that things can be made better very quickly. Now, it's hard to explain all of this because you are wondering what we are talking about. But there are things going on, whether it is what's happening in Syria with all of the battling, or whether or not it is the other potential wars that are going on out there, or the fight against the FDA and how they are apparently in cahoots with the pharmaceuticals and the big companies that are controlling things, and you are all feeling very, very pulled around by this, and who can you trust? Understand that as a collective, you have more power than these organizations, and they will be, as you focus more on stability in your own world, then their lack of integrity, their true nature will become more and more apparent, and actions can be taken. You see, when you are just as much in a flux and crazy and whatever, then it begins to look like the people who are trying to control you maybe are on the right path. You can't be trusted. You don't know what to eat. You don't know how to take care of yourselves. You don't know anything. You are like wild animals that need to be caged and controlled. But as you come back instead with clarity and dignity and strong inner energies, say, no, this is not going to work for us. You cannot control us with regulations that take away our abilities to make good choices for ourselves. As that kind of energy builds, these opposing forces will begin to collapse, because they are not very strong. They are you only think they're strong. You are like the elephant that grew up chained to the post. Now it is simply a little rope holding you to the post. You can pull it up at any moment, but you don't believe you can, because you've been raised to think that you are chained to that post. And you're not anymore. You never really were. When you were a child, maybe you were, but not now. So as you start to see more and more of the craziness that is the governments, the institutions, the whatever that's out there, the corporations that seem to be doing things that are totally crazy. Don't get crazy. Get centered. Draw in your energies. Draw in what you need. Because then you will be seen as a stable force, a stabilizing force that can now push against these ill winds. Understand? Be like an anchor, anchoring the boat. Don't be willy-nilly running around the deck shouting that the sky is falling. Take control of you and your surroundings, and talk to your neighbors, and you will begin to see how that becomes a force that these ill winds, we will call them, cannot knock down. This will all make a lot more sense as you begin to learn more and more and more about just how really crazy these corporations and government organizations and international organizations really are. You're going to be shocked to hear some of the things they want to impose on you. But instead of worrying about them imposing it, think about more, be more in tune with what it is you would do yourself if you were in charge. And then see that vibration building. See that, in other words, they're hitting you with this "we control you" vibration. You hit them back with a "no, you don't. You're not telling me, I'm telling you." Because they are only as powerful as what reverberates back to them. They know this. That is why they've trained you to be obedient. Because they are hoping you will self-police. That you will be the forces that knock down the rational changes. But they are wrong. Because you are all awakening. Because that is what this energy from the Galactic Center is doing. It is waking you up. And so you're not going to be this controllable, weak-minded grouping. You're going to be a grouping that really looks around and says, "What? Wait a minute, the Emperor has no clothes. Is anyone noticing that? I can see it, can't you?" So think about this as a time when the big wheel of the bicycle is taking over, using its strength to flip the little wheel on its back. And see the little wheel as the 2%. And it is interesting to us because we are watching your elections, and our vehicle is very interested in the campaign of Mr. Romney, and just watching what he does and what he says and how he distorts and how he hides and how he is anything but transparent and how he flip-flops. And he's wondering, our vehicle is wondering, are people not seeing this? Does it not concern them that this man hides his information and flaunts his powerful friends in your face, and seems to have no solutions, and has a record of sending your jobs overseas? Yes, maybe he was not at this company after 1999, but it was his company, following his policies. He does not have an explanation for that. Has anyone asked him, would he have changed anything? Because we will tell you he would not. But he might not tell you that because he's afraid of you knowing who he is and what his agenda is. He wants you just to hire him and then find out what his agenda is. Wonderful. How many of you go to the grocery store and buy packages of unmarked goods and take them home to eat? Really? You do? No. That is what the corporations want. They want it just to say happy time food, eat, on the box. Nothing about the GMOs, nothing about all of the pharmaceutical chemicals and whatever that are in it. Oh, you don't need to know that. But you are rising. You are saying, no, we want to know. Is there GMO crap in this food? What are the chemicals you are adding to it to preserve it or whatever? What have you put in here that isn't what the label says it is? It's interesting to us. The corn people have relabeled high fructose corn syrup and calling it now corn sugar, as if corn has a sugar. No, this is a manufactured product made from corn. You know that you can make plastics from corn. Do you want to eat plastics? It's interesting to us. Because really you are seeing the fight over hiding information and revealing information. And this information goes all the way back through time. Because there's a lot of historical information that is hidden from you. Oh, you don't need to know about those early days. You don't need to know about the Galactic War that scarred your solar system. Just go back to sleep, sheepo. Well, we got news for those who want you to do that. The wake-up call is getting louder and louder, and no one is going back to sleep. And we applaud that, because that is the ultimate exercise in free will. When you know all the information and then you act. Acting without information is ignorance. Acting in full information is the opposite. And so here you are learning and discovering, and information's coming out, and your brain is beginning to comprehend. And maybe you're angry. Maybe you're even furious. But also learn that this process was designed so that you would not be caught sleeping when these energies came. And with that, we will leave you. It's been our pleasure.